I accept everything. If it's even a word of prayer, help us. Reach out to us, please. And I thank you for reading. Thank you for watching. And thank you for whatever you're planning or whatever you're doing for us. Thank you. Thank you. This is my handsome little boy, Jamaari Smith. He was diagnosed with pyoderma gangrenosum in June of 2022. First, it started out with a little cut on his hand. I brought him to the doctor. He got some antibiotics, and it still wasn't getting better. I saw some new pustules coming up on his face, on his shoulder, to his side, on his butt, and on his knee. And they were painful. They weren't scratching him or anything like that, but they were very painful. He was admitted at Sav Hospital on June 11, 2022, and that's where everything started getting very, very bad. His first dermatology clinic was at Cornell Regional Hospital, and that's where they diagnosed him to have pyoderma gangrenosum. By that time, however, the bumps, pustules or blisters, they got so big and they just spread out all over his body. And they started giving him morphine to control the pain, because that's the only thing that worked. And they started steroids, high doses of steroids, as well as IVIG, which is intravenous immunoglobulins, and an immunosuppressant drug that is called cyclosporine. He had breathing issues. He was intubated for 5 days at Cornell Regional Hospital. All of this while he was in hospital. He was never discharged. He started having breathing issues, as I said. He started having blood count issues. At one point, his blood count was so low. It was about 4.4, and it's supposed to be 12. And he had to get blood transfusion. That's one of the first time, that was the first time he got blood transfusion. And a little bit after that, he was intubated because of the breathing. And he was 5 days. He spent 5 days on the life support machine at Cornell Regional Hospital. And he was successfully extubated at that point and transferred back to Sav. His breathing was to a point where he was able to manage it, and his heart rate was back to a point where they could manage it as well. However, the sores, lesions, or ulcers they call them, did not get better. They just worsened until they took practically more than half of his body at that point. They searched, they tried their best, the doctors at Sav as well as the ones at Cornwall, they tried, but they could not figure out what was wrong, why he was not getting better. At one point, he started having an infection in his blood, and they had to transfer him to UE Hospital. Financially, this has taken a real toll on us. I am a secretary at some hospital, and I don't know if anybody knows, but my salary is not all the way up there. It's not up there, but we have to make do. My husband, he's a driver. He was a driver at the time. He used to drive for Kamash tours, so the salary is not up there, all the way up there, but we have to make do. Honestly, since Jamaari's illness, I found out what medical expenses is like, and it is not cheap. Most of the things had to be done from pocket. So my hospital that I work at, Sav Hospital, they assisted by paying for some of the tests that were done. Not many things are provided for in the healthcare system for dermatology illnesses. For example, most of the tests that are done for dermatology is not really covered by the government. So I had to pay for most of the tests from pocket. I had health insurance for him as well, so that kind of alleviated most of the cost as well. But for somebody, for example, somebody who is not working with the government system, who does not have a healthcare system, I can only imagine what they go through. But for him and us, it was very terrible. Expenses piled up everything, and if it wasn't for donations, if it wasn't for persons who heard about our story and helped, I don't know where we would have been. I try to be as positive as possible to him and around him, but it took a toll on me. But thank God, persons saw, persons reached out. They even had a fundraising event for him. The White House Taxi Group, as well as Transport of Family, they came together and they had a fundraising event for him on the 8th of February. It was a huge success. His skin was always beautiful prior to the illness, but the scars covering almost 80% of his body is not very pretty, and I want to have him back to as normal a life or childhood as possible, because persons don't understand and may not see him beyond the scars, and that's what I don't want to happen, because children can be horrible at times, and if he's supposed to go back to school, whenever he's supposed to go back to school, it will be a major problem for him, and I don't want that for him. So I have not sent him back to school as yet, but eventually he will have to go back. He told me he wants to be a doctor. That was prior to his illness, and when about a month or two ago, he finally specialized. Said he wants to be a paediatrician. He wants to help children to get better. Probably because he's been through so much, he's personalizing it. So I don't know, but I want to do as much as possible for him where that is concerned. And I believe that if he goes overseas, he can get the help to correct the skin and to get a little better, a better look of it, because he's very self-conscious right now, very, very self-conscious, and that's one of the reasons he doesn't like to meet new people.